Schuler's.
Thank you. There was a pause there because it was a dramatic pause, not because you forgot.
Pause for. Yeah. I forget a lot of things, like where my keys are and stuff like that, but I'm never going to forget that David Gardner Schuler.
What do you lose more? Because I don't know the answer for myself. My keys or my television remote?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
You know that I'm like, you know this. Of course you do. You're my dear friend. I'm very organized with 92% of my life. Suits go in a certain order, shirts, like, you go to my garage, you'd be like, that ain't that organized, Nuno. That's not my fault, okay? That being said, when it comes to keys and a remote, it's like I throw it away every day. It does not matter. I had it right here on my chest, falling asleep to it, gone the next day.
Yeah.
Every time.
I think I lose my keys more. Yeah.
Have you ever almost had to like try to leave for work? Like, where the hell are my keys?
Yeah.
3 times a week for me.
It's 3 times a day.
You go to work 3 times? That's a lot. By the way, we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason Jackson, Keith, Morgan, and the rest. The boys, the women, the men, the family.
There's a Richard that works there, Beatrice, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, Ramona. They all work there.
Beatrice and Ramona, are they sisters?
Yeah, they're sisters. And we are doing the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to call the show, what do they call?
Oh, you call us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's number 979-693-1150.
That is that number. If you text that number, we changed the name, though, because we got skills.
Yeah, we changed it to the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy PPE text line.
Yeah. Let's go.
979-693-1150 as well.
Let's go around the room.
Let's do.
Left to right, behind the glass, through the television. We say hi to the director, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, sir.
Good morning, y'all. Nothing was wrong with the YouTube. I just forgot to click go live. So that one's on me, but we're good. We're up and running there. Biggest, or I guess most likely blowout. I would agree with y'all. It's obviously either Arkansas or Kentucky, but biggest opportunity at a road blowout, I'm going to say it's Missouri, because when y'all were having the discussion, I was like, didn't they blow out Missouri last year on the road? Like you mentioned, OB, it was a game that never really felt like A&M was going to lose, and to me, I qualify that as a blowout. So I think either Arkansas or Kentucky at home, and on the road it'll be the biggest chance to pick up a blowout win will be against the Missouri Tigers.
You guys watch how you watch and fan how you fan, but I think OB and I shared this in that game, and we were in the minority. That Missouri game. It wasn't that I felt the game was ever in doubt. I saw some things that caught my attention that I then projected into future games. Right? I didn't like at times that it felt close. And, man, we can't stop the freaking run. I know that team can run. Ahmad Hardy's amazing. But it was both of the running backs, by the way.
And wasn't there a pass completion down like 10-yard line and then the fumble at the end of it? And you're like, they're on the verge of just putting this away, but there's this one play here and there from both sides that just kept Missouri kind of close.
But at the end of the day, they won by what was it, 17 points?
17.
Yeah, that's a beatdown.
And it was, again, a late touchdown.
Yeah. And
what play from the Missouri game stands out in your mind?
When there a really big run, I know they had several big runs, but didn't we have a really big run in that game?
Fake punt, baby.
That's it.
Dalton Brooks. Because it's 21-7, but Missouri had just scored, and now it looks like they got to stop. And you're thinking,
it could be a game, yeah.
Is the momentum shifting here? And you call it fake punt, and it goes for 48 yards.
Hey, I've been to Missouri twice as a member of TexAgs, and we've won both games. But I've gone to South Carolina twice, and we haven't won that game.
Yeah, I've seen them win in South Carolina. I'm trying to think. Have I seen them? Yeah, I did see them lose in Missouri, 2013.
Oh.
Johnny was still hurt playing.
That was Gary Pinkel, Missouri. They were good, right?
They were. They represented the East in the championship game.
That's right. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Carson Stein, good morning, sir.
Morning, y'all. How are y'all?
Any relation to the new Kentucky coach?
I wish.
Why? Why would you wish?
So
Explain.
I could be related to an SEC head football coach.
So that would for dinner parties, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's my cousin.
Yeah.
That's
the only
exactly
how it's going.
So you would root against A&M?
No. See, you're putting words in my mouth.
No, but when you wish to
so
you're saying you don't love your family then.
I love my family.
If your family does something, don't you
You've
go
met
all
my
in?
Family. I love my family.
Okay. What do you have for us?
I just wanted to kind of get into the softball game, the celebrity softball game last night.
Okay.
Team Maroon won the softball game 15-12, headlined by Marco Jones winning the home run derby for the second
We
consecutive
called
year.
it.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, we know things.
Yeah.
Everybody called it. Anyway.
Also, another thing, football related, the A&M football team announced that they will honor the university's 150th celebration when the Aggies host Arkansas Saturday, October 3rd.
That is correct. You want to give a little more details on that? What does it say? What else they're doing, or your eyes are
Like
getting
the
small?
150th what,
Anniversary of the
A&M football.
of the
School.
university. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It says on October 4th, 1876, formal opening ceremonies were conducted and students began classes at the then Agricultural and Mechanical College of Texas. Let me try and find the rest of that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I think you've done enough there. Enough damage to the show. What else do you have? Give us one more good thing.
Men's golf announced their schedule for the fall season, including September 14th through 16th at the 6th annual Jackson T. Stevens Cup, one of college golf's premier events.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Carson. Let's hit a break, OP.
Okay.
When we come back, 25 and 25.
25 and 25.
Emmitt Smith is next.
Okay.
Not himself, but number 22.
Okay.
Number 22.
Bobby Hayes for the older Cowboys fans.
Or Clyde Drexler.
Is he more 22?
Yeah.
Does the numbers, do they resonate as much?
Are they as iconic as they used to be?
And I think the number resonates more in football because you can't see the faces.
Sure. There was a time in the NBA it mattered.
Yeah,
the
I'm sure.
NBA doesn't matter anymore.
No.
People change their number all the time now.
Yeah, like
Devin Booker is the most recent one. He's worn number 1 since the NBA. He's changing to number 15 this year.
don't really care. Let's talk 1775. All right, OB. Whoever's texting you, I want you to take them to 1775. I want you to order for them, but you can't order for them what you're ordering for yourself.
Okay.
I'm putting a little spell on. So all right, you're going to try this because this is mine.
Well, it was Irma who.
Okay.
And she said I left the stove on this morning,
That's not good.
which means I should just be eating out more because I don't have to worry about the stove. And you know what? When I want to eat out and have a good meal,
Is somebody going home to turn it off?
No, she's still at home.
Oh, okay. Okay. Whew.
She just wanted to point out that I
Billy!
made a mistake. Anyway, I like to go to 1775. In fact, tomorrow is the last weekday that my son's going to be here in Texas because we're leaving early Saturday to head for Arizona. Well, we're going to 1775 because, you got the best Texas barbecue, and you got to say goodbye to Texas. So you say goodbye at 1775. So and if I was ordering, like I'd be taking Irma, right?
Right.
And I'd say, let me order for you. And she'd say, shut up, I can order for myself. And she'd probably get that big ass baked potato that's stuffed.
BAP, yeah.
That's stuffed with the brisket.
Yeah.
I would probably just get the brisket sandwich. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. Best brisket sandwich I ever had.
Me too.
And Quinn would be there, and Quinn would probably, he's very Nuno-ish. He would probably get turkey. And of course, I'd order queso mac and cheese.
I get the sampler one out there, buddy. I get everything. Come on. Give me it all.
I'm just saying he's looking for, he's one of these guys that's watching his calories and all this because he's a workout warrior like you.
Right.
And so he'd probably get the turkey. And you know what? I might say, Brad, can you slip me in a pork rib or two in there? Because one time I was there and I said, yeah, I need, can we adjust the order a little bit? But, that's where you got to go to 1775. If you're leaving Texas, you got to have that last taste of Texas barbecue. And it doesn't get any better than 1775.
The number is 979-492-6241. The website, 1775txbbq.com. It is 1775, OB.
It's good.
Hey guys, David Nuno here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. Welcome back into TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. It is now time for 25 in 25, presented by Paragon Financial Advisors, an Aggie-owned independent fee-only fiduciary firm serving families and business owners nationwide. Visit more at paragon-adv.com. And number 22 is a guy I'm super excited about, OB. His name is
Noah McHale.
First off, really nice young man. Not that that matters on the football field, but I like him. He's a nice kid. He's been here several times. Secondly, every time I watch him play, I feel like he is getting better and looks really good. And I know there's not a huge sample size, but there's a reason that they are really, first off, that he's in the 25, because that means you probably voted for him. I definitely did. Billy did, and the fans. People see the value in what Noah McHale can do.
He didn't play a lot last year, and of course he didn't. You had Scooby Williams, you had Damian Sanford, you had Torian York.
Yep.
You're not going to be taking those guys off the field very much. But when he played, you'd notice him, and not for bad reasons. You'd notice him making plays. And, even last year, I kind of like this Noah McHale kid. It's one of those guys, when he plays, he's out there, he makes plays. And in the spring game, he had an interception,
Yep.
They returned for a touchdown, I believe.
Yep, he had a great spring game.
When he gets a chance to play, he's productive. The question about him is, are you going to be able to do that
consistently,
not just in small sample size? Because I think they're going to need him to play and play a lot.
He's one that I think is what I call a fast riser. I do believe if we redid this midseason at the end of the year, he'd be higher than 22. I expect him to be a key cog in that defense. 6'2", 225, looks like an SEC linebacker, plays like an SEC linebacker. His game catches up with his body this year. I think we're going to see a lot of production from Noah McHale.
Yeah, he strikes me as a guy that's always played linebacker and was well coached in high school and all those things. He just has linebacker instincts.
Yeah. He one of the things I like about him is that he doesn't just make tackles; he attacks. There's an attack. There's that linebacker mentality.
Yeah, he sees the hole that's developing.
Plays downhill.
Up. Yeah, he may be I don't want to say the only solution, but he may be one of the solutions for that problem of misfits.
Mm-hmm.
He strikes, like I said, it's only been a small sample size, but he just has struck me as that guy that just knows how to play linebacker.
Yep.
And just is where he's supposed to be.
And I'm going to go back to something we often say about the transfer portal, but I think we also need to say about guys that Texas A&M has recruited. Mike Elko wanted this guy. Mike Elko went and got this guy. And he has a track record of identifying talent.
He's a 4-star guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Identifying talent and bringing them here.
Mm-hmm.
And then letting them blossom. And I think he's going to be one of those guys at the end of the year we're talking about, see, Elko did it again.
Yeah. There's no reason to be pessimistic about Noah McHale. Again, we haven't seen much, but what we've seen has been good.
Yeah.
So the instincts, he's athletic, seems to always be where he's supposed to be. I think that is he going to be a starter, right? That may depend on how quick Damian Sanford gets back, right? Because I would expect that he's probably starting. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just guessing he's probably starting in the season opener.
Yeah.
He and Coney. Maybe there's somebody else.
Jordan Lockhart, another guy.
Yeah. But I liked what I saw from Jordan when he played last year. But I just think McHale, he looks the part, plays the part. Small sample size has been good.
Should be good. Size. We'll have a lot more with Billy in about an hour and a half or so. Did you see that Big Ten athletic directors met in person in Chicago, which they were all there for Big Ten Media Days anyway, discussing Plan B, which would be if the Protect College Sports Act and the CSC change. Plan C, self-governance.
So they're talking about it too.
They're talking about it too. And Ross Dellinger wrote, I guess, had a source say it would be a bit of a stopgap because yesterday was the deadline. They didn't meet the deadline. So this Congress thing, it ain't going to happen. I haven't felt confident about it at all, but the SEC and the Big Ten are still not on board.
Yeah. And if they're not on board, unless Congress does something where they have to be on board, which Congress can never do anything, right? I mean, there's always, because people are more worried about keeping their job than doing their job.
Yep.
And that's why so little gets done. But so when they're, and how many people in Congress even understand college football and the dynamics of college
They
football?
don't.
None. Maybe a handful.
But-
Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, but then I think people in college football also don't understand college football sometimes
That's
because
true.
when they've done their own stuff, it sucked.
Well, I've said before, a lot of times you got the eggheads, presidents and things like people that don't know sports making decisions about sports. You hire athletic directors for a reason, because let them run the show.
Yep. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. Stephen McGee going to be joining us right now. When the unexpected happens, whether it's a car accident, property damage, or business liability, preparation matters, and who your insurance carrier is definitely matters. And that's why I have the Rollo Insurance Group to get you properly covered before crisis strikes. They have independent agents to provide a consultation across all insurance types, and they give you the confidence that the details are handled correctly. They've got over 60 offices in Texas, and their expert advice is always a phone call away or even an in-person meeting away. The true value of insurance becomes clear in those critical moments when you have a claim and you need somebody to take care of you, and that's why Rollo agents that's why they're there, and that's what they're going to do. They'll help you understand what's covered, what to expect, and how to move forward. Don't wait until disaster strikes to discover gaps in your coverage. Visit rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs is Rollo Insurance. We're back here on the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. He's Olin Buchanan. I am David Nuno. And it's time for our weekly visit with our dear friend Stephen McGee, brought to you by Paragon Financial Advisors. He's our QB1 and your financial QB at Paragon Financial Advisors, helping you call the right place for your financial future. Esteban, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good morning, gents. How was SEC days?
It's a cloud. I don't know, like it's
They weren't as offensive to me as most of them usually are.
it's cool. It's a lot of.
It was warmer in the ballroom where we had to work. I mean, it wasn't warm.
It was a
but it was,
tundra where we did the show
It was warmer
from.
where we usually than typically. A&M didn't go on the last day. They weren't the last team of their day. There were good things to write about because I could make fun of Shane Beamer. So it wasn't too bad.
I enjoy it, and I can't wait to get back all at the same time.
Yeah, understood. I think for a lot of people, I feel like we've all got that injection of desire of football again. Like it's in that lull of sports season where I get texts about the Hamilton Tiger Cats being on TV, and it just kind of feeds to the idea that so many people out there are ready for this thing to get going again. And so for me, it's kind of like, I don't know, for whatever reason, SEC Media Days kicks that off. It's like, I'm ready for football. I'm ready for opening day, get that first game on the TV. It's always the most exciting day of the year for us, like Christmas for an adult.
How many games did you start for the Ticats?
0, fortunately.
Really? You started more for the Cowboys than the Ticats?
That's right. Yeah, thank goodness. It's funny. We played in the Grey Cup both years.
Oh, I didn't know you were on the championship team.
Yeah, and my first year there, it was negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll never forget that game, because we had 2 starters that went on the IR because they had frostbite from practice. And that's when I knew. I was like, hey, this is not for me, and I'm glad I'm not playing in this game. The practice field was a rock. Like the turf had frozen. We were playing in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Pardon?
That's Olin Buchanan's favorite place on earth.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Well said. We all know. That's why we love you.
Here.
Do you have 2 Grey Cup rings? Do you have Grey Cup?
Hey, Olin, as my sports career will testify to, we were runner-up both times.
Oh, okay. Just like at Burning High.
Just like at Burning High. Thank you. I knew you remember that.
Stephen,
Thank you.
Was there any part of Canada life that you liked?
The weather during the summer is much preferred to here.
Okay.
The scenery is great. Now, unfortunately for us, we were in Hamilton, Ontario, which is like a poor man's Pittsburgh. So out of all 9 CFL teams, we arguably had the worst. I mean, us and Edmonton. But everyone else had these beautiful cities like Vancouver and Calgary and Montreal. Look, I would say it's quite different from Texas. And for a Texas boy living in Canada, though it's pretty, I didn't get to hunt, and that's probably the most redeeming quality to me as far as Canada goes. But politically speaking, I'd say we were at odds quite often. But I love the Canadian people. They're incredibly kind and generous. And so that's probably my favorite part of it. But the CFL is akin to like a 2A high school, in my opinion, from like an attendant, like the sports budget. You come from the Cowboys and you have like this equipment room. And it's like, hey, whatever you want, whenever you want. And you go there day one. I remember they gave me some pads that were like 5 years old. They gave me a shirt that had been worn for like 2 years. Like it wasn't even new. And I'm thinking to myself, like, is this it? I was like, hey, do you guys have like some tights? Like, they're like, you didn't bring any tights? And I was like, no, was I supposed to? They're like, well, we'll have to go see if we can find some. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is eye-opening. But what's really good about that is you find out who really loves football, right? That's not there for the money and the fame, because you're really playing for the love of the game at that point.
Well, I used to watch Canadian football on TV, Channel 11 in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because I just love football, right?
Yeah.
But that 12-player thing, I don't understand why they can't just say, all right, look, our brand of football kind of sucks. Let's just play normal football.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely weird football, right? 12 guys,
And a
they're all
25
moving at the snap.
25-yard end zones.
Yeah, and then you've got the 1 yard space, the line of scrimmage between the O line and D line, 3 down football instead of 4 down football. You can score points on punts, miss field goals. It's weird.
I was going to say the one thing that I would actually consider adopting from is the idea that, what is it? If you punt it and you have a chance to return it and you don't, you let it go in the end zone, it's a point for the other team.
That's right.
Make you, field that, not just hope it goes into the end zone. Pick it up and go.
Stephen, do you have friends that you made from there that you still keep in touch with?
I do. One of my favorite teammates of all time, Zach Caleros, who's quarterback from Cincinnati. He's still playing. He's kind of like the Tom Brady of the CFL. I mean, he's a legend up there. He's done really well. He's just a great guy. We really hit it off in Hamilton.
That's some kind of backward compliment, huh? You're the Tom Brady of the CFL. Would you rather have played in the CFL or arena ball?
CFL. Arena ball, OB. That's like...
I covered arena football for 2 years.
No way.
I did. I covered the Austin Wranglers.
Oh, yeah.
But what is there? Is there a group of people that are digesting that media? I don't want to sound...
No.
At some point, it's like...
Yeah, the parents.
You had to... no, I mean, they had actually pretty good crowds.
Did they?
I mean, it's people getting drunk. And they had... I was there to cover the New Orleans Voodoo and the Tampa something. And somebody was the Predators. Yeah, Orlando Predators.
Orlando Predators,
And you know what was great about it? Here's what was great about it. The local newspapers, they weren't going to send anybody like from New Orleans or Orlando to cover, but they had to keep up with the team. So you get a call, hey, could you send us your story? We'll pay you $150.
Yeah.
Sure. That was the best part.
I think one of the best Arena League football stories was Jared Lorenzen, the 300-pound quarterback from Kentucky. Do you remember him?
Yeah, of course. J-Load.
Making guys miss an arena ball. It was hilarious. You'd get the occasional highlight of him. Looked like Jaworski Lane, but then he'd turn around and spin it. And I always loved that guy.
So I'm covering a game. And, again, you're all in the arena. And the quarterback for the Wranglers just throwing the ball away. He's throws the ball. And it goes like 3 feet over my head. I'm just like this. And I see it coming, but I said, okay. And it goes over my head. And, one of the big things about if you catch the ball in the...
You get to keep it, right?
You get to keep it.
Yeah.
And some little kid, he's like 12 years old, he's wrong. He looks at me and says, you suck. You're supposed to catch the ball. I'm like, dude,
Were you in Baton Rouge?
Sure. No, this is right there in Austin, at the Irwin Center. Anyway, we probably talked more.
That's when you're glad, OB, that you're not a starting quarterback at any level of sports, because that's the life you live, right? You're always judged by your best and worst days.
You know what? I wouldn't care as long as I was bringing in those Steve McGee paychecks.
Heck yeah.
Tell me, I'm going to suck all the way to the bank, baby. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right. Hey, I didn't get any paychecks when I played, but I did get a smoking hot wife. So
Wait, what do you mean you didn't get any paychecks? Did you get the league minimum?
When I was at A&M.
No, I'm talking about when you were playing. You were a starter for the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, it's like, what's your return on investment? You get your league minimum 3.5 years, and you put in 30 plus years of work and time and effort into that. It's like, I'm getting below minimum wage at that point.
Oh, please. I would bet in his 3.5 years in the NFL, he made more money than I made in my life.
Hey, not this year, my friend. We do have a challenge brewing for you. We just got to figure out what that's going to be.
All right. Hey. I watched him start against the Eagles, my most hated team.
Yeah.
And he led them to victory
over
the Eagles.
Yeah.
So Steve McGee he's always going to be good with me.
My man.
Hey, Stephen, before we hit a break, I do want to ask you an A&M football question. There are some unknowns what this offense is going to look like, although I do feel with Holman Wiggins it looks similar to what we saw last year. I believe that to be the case. Maybe a little different wrinkles, Marcel on the run more. What do you think this offense could look like this year?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest opportunities, I do agree with you. I think it'll be similar. And I think that's one of the reasons why he got the gig is the continuity of the terminology. not having to learn, new words and formation, all that fun stuff. But, I think that the pace of play is something where we've talked a lot about, and you get your quarterback in a position where he plays his best football. And I think it's in that 2-minute type system, play with pace, play fast. If the defense is going to pressure, make them pressure from depth because you're playing so fast. So I think that's the opportunity. I think from a scheme perspective, I would like to see, and I hope to see, more up-speed, up-tempo offensive play. And then obviously, I think the big question mark, and what I'm most excited is the offensive line.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with a little buy, sell, hold on the other side. Right now, we're talking Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocking up on new deals every day, and their inventory is growing. But that means that they're looking to deal, right? So if you have a trade-in, they'll take care of you. There's just south of those big city prices, no dealer add-ons. What you see is what you get. They are locally owned. They have an Aggie alumni team ready to roll out the red carpet for you. Free oil changes for life as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. And their pre-owned inventory does move fast. So as I said, they'll give you top dollar. About a 15-minute drive. The edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Welcome back in TexAgs Live. Time for a little buy, sell, hold, brought to you by Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. If you want financial guidance that truly puts you first, visit paragon-adv.com. Stephen McGee is on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Here are your buy, sell, hold options, guys. A&M averages 35-plus points per game. They averaged 33.8 last year. Marcel accounts for 40 total touchdowns. He accounted for 31 last year. And A&M has a 1,000-yard receiver. They came very close with a couple of guys last year. Buy, sell, hold those options, guys. McGee, start us off.
Wow, that's a good one. I'm going to buy the 1,000-yard receiver. And I think you're going to be. I think the argument against that is obviously that there's going to be more depth, but I'm gonna buy that one for now.
Okay.
OB, what about you?
I am buying that they're going to average 35 points a game or whatever it was.
Last year was 33.8.
I think they'll be. I wonder if they were at 35 before the
last
Miami
couple.
game.
They probably were.
I think they're going to be as explosive as they were last year. I really do.
Okay. So
I'll lease that. And the reason why I would lease it, and I think the argument against it is going to be that the schedule is going to be a little bit better. And I think that's to be determined. But on the road at Alabama, at Norman, on the road at LSU, which last year they had no defense, and so I guess that's a big question mark for them. But then Texas, at home, and then even a team like Kentucky, I think they've had good defense in the past. So, I think it's going to be more challenging to put up as many points on average as they did last year, but they do to be impressive.
So then are you holding then the 1,000-yard receiver?
Yeah, I think that's a tough call because it just hasn't happened that often. I think Christian Kirk or maybe Josh Reynolds was the last. I think that's true.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds, I think, was the last one.
So that's a long time, but 40 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns too.
So last year,
So I think I'll hold the. I think I'll hold. You know what? I'm going to put the hold on. No, what is it? Buy, sell,
hold.
so hold. So I'm going to hold Marcel throwing 40 touchdown passes, and the reason why I think he'll increase his number.
So he that's combined rushing and passing touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely I'll hold that.
Because I think he was 26-5, if I remember the numbers correctly. 26 touchdown passes, 5 touchdown rushed in. McGee, Stephen, I don't know if I think he's going to do 40, but I can make an argument for him to get 40 because how many, do you remember, red zone interceptions that he
That's
had?
what I'm saying. I think he'll add touchdowns just by having Isaiah Horton out there to throw to in the red zone.
Right. So
A big receiver in the red zone.
So if you add 2-3 there, potentially 2-3 running, you're going to be really close.
Yeah. So that's the one
Yeah,
I would hold.
And you've got some guys that can go over the top too. Bethel Roman, the speed. Craver. I think if Craver can stay healthy, I think that's the key to the 1,000 yards, but also some touchdowns. But I think the ability of Marcel to use his legs strategically in the low red zone. I think that quarterback run game is so key. Quarterback draws, option plays, et cetera, and then just the creativity like he did against LSU. So I would love to see it. I mean, that's going to be a Heisman type year.
Yeah, and I was going to say Fernando Mendoza had 48 touchdowns last year combined between running and passing. So,
But he also played what? Is that total?
He
His
played
total 16 games or
he
whatever?
played more. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you normalize it for the extra games, it's probably right on pace with a 40-yard, 12-game schedule or 40 touchdown, 12-game schedule. So that's a lot. But hey, this is what you have to have from Marcel. Like we're only going to go as far as Marcel takes us. I think we all recognize that. And if he can take the next step or just take a step as the development of a passer, there's a lot of good things going on offensively.
Something to consider in this conversation is if they play 2 more games. How do they play 2 more games? Let's say an SEC championship game, and they win a playoff game, they get another game, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's all I feel like that's what we all think could be the next logical step, right?
I think, I can think of 3 touchdowns off the top of my head, and there's probably more that were called back, that he had 2 long runs, one against Arkansas, one against South Carolina, and then he had that touchdown pass against Auburn that got called back. And then I'm thinking, we've talked about this. He threw 6 of his interceptions from either the red zone or the 21-yard line.
Yeah.
So clean that up, and right there's a potential 6 more touchdowns.
That's exactly right. I mean, clean that up. The way you do that is you got to play faster. Everything speeds up down there because it's not as much room. Those windows close even that much more quickly. And so you have a more mature quarterback that can see the defense and anticipate, where the ball's got to go. That's your hope as an Aggie fan, is that he does take that leap.
Stephen, great stuff, buddy. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Hey, y'all too. See you guys.
OB, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow before you take off for a little bit. So we'll make it a good show. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs, just a lot of chatter. That's what we're doing. Carson Stein, step up your game, buddy. We're chattering on the next side. It's TexAgs Live. All right, we're back. It's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is our number 2 of the program. So audience participation, Nick participation, Carson Stein participation. All right, everybody get in and start using your brains a little bit. All right, I want you guys to really think. The question is, I want to kind of rank and discuss the teams that are the most quarterback dependent in college football. Now, let me go ahead and preface this. I recognize no matter who you are in the SEC, Big Ten, whatever other conference you want to talk about, if your quarterback goes down, your likelihood of winning goes down significantly unless you have like Tom Brady as your backup and Drew Bledsoe as your starter, right? Like that's not what I'm asking. I'm talking about like the success of the program depends on their quarterback elevating his game to a point. Now you can say that about any team, right? Hey, if the worst quarterback in the league is, I'm talking about realistic play. So if Marcel plays at a certain level, if Arch plays at a certain level, who has to be elite to elevate? How dependent are the teams and the roster around them to being the most dependent on the quarterback? So like some programs ask their quarterback to be game managers. Some programs ask their teams to be like just air it out and just run a system. So assuming quarterbacks stay healthy, if a quarterback finishes outside the top 3 or 4 in his conference, how much does his team and how much does his program ceiling change? That's, I guess, what I'm talking about. The performance changes. And I have my own ranking that I came up with, but let's just discuss, okay? And who wants to go first? You want to think for a second, Carson? You look like you want to think for a second. Okay, you want to think. Nick, do you have an idea you want to throw out here? Because I can give you some teams to consider.
Yeah,
if you want.
I'm going to look at this just to help me, but go ahead and throw out some names.
All right, so I'll give you C.J. Carr, I'll give you Arch, I'll give you Darian Mensah, I'll give you Marcel, I'll give you Sam Levitt. And I basically gave you my rankings.
Okay.
And there's others, right? Like Oregon situation.
Yeah,
like
Tech, I feel like, is in that mix as well.
Absolutely.
But
like Dante Moore is coming back. I am one that thinks Oregon might be the best team in the Big Ten this year.
Kind of sticking with the Big Ten, you think you could put Penn State in that same situation since they brought over Rocco Becht with?
Yeah, you absolutely could put them in that
because I feel like that was a
situation.
big knock on them last year was the quarterback play of Drew Aller.
Drew Aller
he
was
got hurt.
horrendous last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I'm talking about teams that you think could finish in an upper tier. Now, Notre Dame's not in a conference, right? But we're talking about playoff-worthy teams dependent on their QB. And I'll just kind of go through a little bit of my thinking as you guys come up with it. So, like, for me, number 5 was C.J. Carr. I don't think that Notre Dame is totally dependent on C.J. Carr. They always have a strong defense, going back to the brand conversations we've had in years past, right? They always have a really strong defense that can run the ball. Jeremiah Love's not there anymore, right? So that running game is going to be different. But elite offensive line, they typically have a proven running game. Marcus Freeman wins by balance. If C.J. Carr is better than pretty good, what does that do to elevate them, right? And again, their schedule is not too taxing. So I think Notre Dame can win 10 games with C.J. Carr basically being pretty good. But if he's great, what does that do? So I believe their dependence level on him is semi-moderate. Arch Manning, they won 9 games last year, and he was, in my opinion, not as bad as everybody said, but certainly not as good as everybody said. He was really good at the end of the year, good-ish. He won games in different ways. I think the roster around Texas is strong enough that if he just raises his ceiling a little bit, Texas should be fine. They also have a hard schedule. Hello, that's life in the SEC. But he's got elite wide receivers. He's got a play caller that I think recently people have, in Steve Sarkisian, are like, hey, maybe you should let somebody else do the play calling. But he does have Sark. They should have a good defense again. Their defense will look different. I think if they get pretty good to average quarterback play, Texas should still be. Now, that's not going to be good enough to win a national championship. But I think with pretty good to average quarterback play, Texas is still probably a playoff favorite. Agree? Disagree?
Yeah.
You're looking at me like you disagree.
No,
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Can I throw one at you?
Throw one.
I think Kevin Jennings at SMU.
Oh. I don't even know who they're playing because they're SMU.
Exactly. Like, it's the ACC. It's not a very deep league, but
It could be an.
he helped lead them to the playoffs 2 years ago.
He did.
They
almost
do
made
play
a late run.
They do play Notre Dame this year. Sorry to interrupt you there, Carson.
You're good. I mean, Kevin Jennings, watch out. That's my kind of, if he plays at that elite level, similar to what he played 2 years ago.
Kevin Jennings is that quarterback that I keep reading about that doesn't get the buzz that everybody else is, but is like in that next tier of like, hey, if he played at a different program, I think we'd be talking about him more.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Kevin Jennings is a really good one.
I got one for you, SEC A&M related. I think if Lenore Sellers can kind of return to a higher level, or if he plays his best season yet, I think some of the hype behind South Carolina can come true, and that game in Columbia for the Aggies will get really, really tough.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm not going to fully agree with you because I think he was pretty good last year. His team around him sucked.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he didn't have playmakers around him.
Masks it. Yeah, a little bit. You're right.
And I'm not saying I disagree, though, because Lenore Sellers himself can take over a game and beat you. And as good as he was 2 years ago, they won 9 games, I think, right? They went 9-3 that year?
9-3, one of the first few teams out.
So, but I don't disagree with you. Like, Lenore Sellers is a game changer, but to me, it's more about the roster around him. If the roster around him is stronger, then yes, I 100% agree with you. If the roster around Lenore Sellers, and they got a much better play caller, much better offensive scheme. So you might be right, Nick. Like in 6 months, I might be like, dude, you called it, right? But to me, he's already that good that I want to see the pieces around him to see if he can elevate that good to a different level.
One more SEC guy for you?
Sure, let's go.
Mario Taylor, Mississippi State quarterback.
Okay. Now, I personally don't think they're going to be in the playoff discussion. But
no. Sorry, I guess that's outside of the contenders. But
so,
they'll be fun to watch.
It's still like, I'm telling you, he's in that Kevin Jennings kind of category that like people who talk about him, like, dude, you have no idea. He is really going to be like people at Mississippi State. Like, if he played at any other school, people would be talking about him.
Me and Cade Bickham are the 2 leaders of the Mario Taylor fan club.
I would prefer you change your allegiance to the Marcel Reed fan club.
We are. We are.
Oh, you can't be doubles. Okay. You can't like Marcel and Camario.
I just can't enjoy.
We got enough double agents in this office.
I heard that on the other show. Anyway, Darian Mensah. Miami has gotten great quarterback play. Well, hold on. I don't know if Carson Beck we would call great.
I don't know if I'd put him up there.
But they've got extremely good. Cam Ward was fantastic. I think Carson Beck was the game manager that we're talking about, but elevated his game at times to be a real difference maker. Darian Mensah's a legit quarterback.
Oh, he's good.
Right? Miami's got, I believe, now their defensive line should be different, right? They don't got Mesidor anymore or Ruben Bain, but they still should have a really good offensive line and a really good defense. And they play in the ACC. If Darian Mensah is what Cam Ward was or is better than Carson Beck, then Miami again, and every year they're in the ACC, it should be Miami versus SMU. Like that's what it should. I guess Clemson if Dabo ever evolves, but I think he creates a lot of chunk plays. He can extend drives. He's got great passing opportunities. He's got a great quarterback coach, by the way, there. So I think Miami, based on what he does, is like they could be in that upper tier again a couple years in a row.
Can I say one that's
you are allowed to say more than one.
Someone brought up in the chat Bryce Underwood at Michigan.
Okay,
and I think that's an
interesting one because
very interesting one.
People have completely shut the door on him.
I think that's completely unwarranted.
I think it's too early to shut the door on a 5-star quarterback. Now I don't know him. I don't know his personality. I know nothing about that. Okay, he might be a great kid. He might be the worst kid.
Yeah,
that part I don't know. I just know that a quarterback that could have gone to LSU, was going to go to LSU, and then goes to Michigan and starts as a freshman, and they still win. They won 8 games last year, 9 games?
I believe 9.
Okay. And they were not good, by the way. They weren't a very good 9-win team. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think, and they had all the instability around him, right? Like the coaching staff was a disaster. Like they just weren't a prepared football team.
That's why he's got a head coach that actually cares about coaching football.
So, and who is proven. I know they were ready to move on from him, but that's just because sometimes you get, hey, we know what we're going to get with this guy. Let's try something else. I think he is an excellent person for this conversation. He might be somebody we'll be saying this about in a year from now, but he finishes the season in a flurry kind of thing. But yeah, I like him. What about Marcel Reed, guys? Let's discuss Marcel.
Well, obviously, that's...
Well, kind of like in the Arch vein, I think the pieces around Marcel are really good, that he just doesn't need to be bad, right? Like, he wasn't good against Texas. He wasn't good against Miami. We all have talked about that so much that I don't want to talk about it anymore. But Marcel, like Lenoris, can single-handedly take over a game. What he did in the second half of South Carolina, yes, it was for a half. I know, yeah. Was incredible theater. Think about, like, if you're not an Aggie fan and you're watching this show, like, yeah, but he had that first. Yes, it's called a game. It's 4 quarters. Like, yeah. And he was unstoppable. What he did against Arkansas, they needed scoring every possession. What do? They scored on every possession, right? So Marcel, to me, and I've said this several times, what he needs to do is just lift his floor. His ceiling is fine. If he wants to raise that, great. You know, we'll take, you know, Johnny Manziel 2012. Of course we will.
That'll play.
But he doesn't have to be all world for this team to be really good. We need to help him around him. Okay? So, and I say we like I'm on the team, like I have something to do with it. Like, hey, let's go to the meetings, Marcel. Come on, follow me. But people are like, he played his worst at the end of the year. Well, in my opinion, the running game wasn't good at the end of the year. And I think the stats bear that out. If the running game isn't good and they're getting pressure on the quarterback, is it 100% the quarterback's fault?
No, I mean, it's just a losing scenario.
So I'm not blaming the entire, look, you play some really good defenses, really good defensive lines. So A&M should have an excellent roster. I say should because 48 new players, but they should have an excellent roster. They should have a solid offensive line that may take some time to gel, right? So the conversations have been anywhere between 8-4 and 11-1 for this team in the regular season, right? Like, if Marcel doesn't take a step back and he's just what he was last year and cleans up some turnovers, then A&M should again be a 10-win team. So I don't think it's all on him. Just needs to raise his floor. So how quarterback dependent is A&M? Well, they're quarterback dependent because they need Marcel to be elite in certain games, no doubt. But it's not just on Marcel. The team, to me, you got any other guys you want to throw in?
It's kind of two. They're both in the state of Tennessee.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Jared Curtis at Vanderbilt, he's got big shoes to fill. I know Vanderbilt's not used to winning.
Yeah.
10 wins last year. You could argue they should have made the playoffs. Diego Pavia leaves. How does that roster look with Jared Curtis now at the helm? And then at Tennessee, who's going to be the quarterback? A redshirt freshman or a 5-star freshman?
So
Tennessee's got expectations.
Here's where I'll push back a little bit. And I don't disagree. I'm just creating some conversation here. I expect Tennessee to get good quarterback play. They got good quarterback play last year. That's what Heupel does. He gets good quarterback play. So I don't think they're as dependent now. If they get bad quarterback play, changes the conversation. But I kind of expect them to get really good quarterback. It doesn't have to be elite.
Can I push back on that a little bit?
Sure.
Look at when Joe Milton was given the reins for a whole season. That offense was night and day different than the season prior when Hendon Hooker was there.
Well, Hendon Hooker was elite. Okay?
No, I get that, but I remember
like that's
Joe Milton was supposed to be the next
I never
guy.
thought he was going to be that. I mean, he got beat for the job.
Yeah.
So that being said, I don't disagree. What I'm saying is Tennessee's problem last year was their defense.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So if I fully expect them, again, this is just a different way of viewing the same thing. We're not arguing. I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying, yeah, but I expect them to be good at quarterback. They weren't even that good at quarterback with Nico. They were good enough. They made the playoffs. Right? He was okay. He wasn't elite.
He was serviceable. I feel like it's the best word to describe.
But they made the playoffs based on the whole sum of the team, right?
Yeah.
And got embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs. So I don't disagree. As for Vanderbilt, they're Vanderbilt. I'm sorry. They're going to have to prove it to me with a different incarnation. I believe in their coach. I think they will prove it to me. I'm not ready to go there with Jared Curtis yet. Freshman quarterback, if he's elite, then we're talking about oh my gosh, So I disagree. Nick, did you have anybody?
No, sir. Sorry. I've been working on something
Oh,
back
I
here.
appreciate you working. Here's my difference maker that if he's elite, changes the story this college football season. Do you know who it is?
Josh Hoover at Indiana.
That could be it too. No, that's not who I had.
Then I have no idea. That was going to be my last one.
Sam Leavitt.
Okay.
If Sam Leavitt
I mean, it makes sense.
is Matt Corral-ish at LSU, then LSU is a title contender. Bottom line.
Yep, I agree.
He, to me, thank you, Nick, for participating. He, to me, is LSU has put everything on this, right? Now, they wanted Brendan Sorsby. That worked out better for them that they didn't get him, but they wanted Brendan Sorsby. Sam Leavitt, who I don't buy. If Sam Leavitt were going to another team, not with Lane Kiffin, I would not buy him. Because he's going to Lane Kiffin, either Lane sees something in him or the Lane just works with quarterbacks and it works.
Yeah.
Okay? And part of the reason I don't buy him is because his whole success was really good based on an incredible running game.
I was just about to say, if you look back at that year they made the playoffs, it was Cam Scatterbo led.
By the way, I'm not saying he's going to do this. I hope you understand. What I'm saying, if he is elite,
no, I get you.
It changes the story. I don't know if Marcel has to be elite. He's going to be, if the team's 10-2, he's going to be considered elite, right? Because he's not making a lot of mistakes. They're playing great. But if Sam Leavitt is elite, if he gives you Matt Corral vibes, right? Whoever Lane Kiffin has worked with, then I think all the questions about LSU, Lane's going to be able to figure it out here.
Yeah.
But if he's not good, I think it could be a really rough season because if you look at their quarterback room, a bunch of young guys, and that's most teams in the SEC now. Like A&M's got young guys in their quarterback room after Marcel. So this is not, and I don't know Texas's situation. I'm not talking about getting to your backup. I'm just saying if Sam Leavitt is elite, LSU is a title contender. And you can say that about any team. I just don't think you need Arch to be top 3 in the league or Marcel to be top 3 in the league. I'll take it from Marcel. I would absolutely do it. But I don't think you need it to be that level of team. You need really good quarterback play, guys. I hope everybody understands. I'm not saying a bad Marcel, you win. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying a generational quarterback play from this position, what does it do for these teams? If you get moderate quarterback play, can you be really good? If you get generational, you put generational quarterback play on any team, of course they're a playoff team. So, agree, disagree? Where are you on Sam Leavitt?
I guess I'll agree. I think they're going to have to try and do a lot of what was successful for Sam Leavitt at ASU of heavy run game, but at the same time, you look at LSU, brand new offensive line, brand new scheme, brand new everything, and Sam Leavitt's coming off an injury.
Yeah, but
it's a lot of.
But no, I'm not. I think you're saying reasons not to believe it. I'm asking you, if he's elite, what does it do for LSU?
If he's elite, they should win 10, 11 games, make the playoffs, host a playoff game.
Right? Does A&M need Marcel to be elite? Top 2-3 quarterback to make the playoffs?
Yes and no. This season, I'll say.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes
and no. Does Texas need ours to be top 2 or 3 to be elite?
No, I think they're in the same boat. They should be in the same boat as Georgia. You're not asking Gunnar Stockton to be the best quarterback in the league.
Does CJ Carr have to be top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league for them to be a playoff team? No, I don't think you need them to.
Not at all.
And I'm not basing this on just schedule. I'm just talking about if Sam Leavitt is average to below, they're going to win 7-8 games. By the way, if Marcel is average to below, A&M could be in that same category. I'm putting a little bit more faith in the head coach and the offensive line and the defensive backs to make me feel all right, it's not all on Marcel's shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's all on Sam Leavitt's shoulder, but if he is a typical Lane Kiffin quarterback, that changes the game. That's all I'm saying. I feel like I'm arguing with myself. All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back, and I think we're going to play our interview with Damian Sanford from our time there in Florida and Tampa from SEC Media Days. Let's talk about Chance McClain. Farming and ranching families think differently. You're not working for today. You are thinking about the generations that are going to come. And that's why Heritage Films does these documentaries for family businesses, family ranches, and families. But when it comes to your family ranch, if you have one, I know we have a lot of listeners that have ranches. Like, just think about the day you purchased that land, or the day you inherited that land, or the first time you mowed that land, the first time you went hunting on your land. All these awesome milestones that your family land means, your own Yellowstone, your own Dutton Ranch. Well, Chance McClain can tell that story, capture the essence of your land that your grandkids and their grandkids are going to need, right? You want to pass it on to the future generations. Let Chance and his team at Heritage Films do a 2-hour documentary on any family subject that you have, family business, family ranch, or just your dad, your uncle, your mother, whoever it may be. Check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com. That's yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. All right, we're back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2.5 of the program. Let's go back to Tampa for a moment and catch up with Damian Sanford. I don't think we got too much into the injury because he said what he was going to say about it, but let's just listen a little bit of our conversation with Damian Sanford talking about the 26th season. All right, we're here with Damian Sanford. What's up, man?
What's up, what's up?
So, what is this like for you? Because I feel like when we had the little media scrum earlier, you've kind of always been a guy that people know about but don't know that much about. Like, you're one of the 3 dudes here. You're a captain. You had such a great year last year. There's a lot of lights on you. How's that kind of the growth of the Damian Sanford story? How's that been for you?
It's been really good. I've been working really hard to get to this point. It's an honor and blessing to be a captain here, representing the team. It's an honor and blessing to be voted captain by the team. And it's an honor to get picked to be up here by Coach Elko. So I feel like I've done the work I needed to do. Is this room overwhelming? Like, or all this whole experience? Nah, I'm enjoying it. They're asking like fun questions and stuff. Like, I just stopped by Houston radio.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah. What about the suit, man? This is a nice
I'm fresh.
suit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fresh today. Yeah. Got the chain, got the Maharas. It's good.
All right, let's go to the spring game. I know we talked a little bit about it earlier, and I'm not going to ask you when you're going to play because we don't know. And Coach Elko doesn't want us to know yet, right? When the time is right. But I want to know, like, your emotions on the field. What are you going through? What are you thinking at that moment? And then we'll fast forward to when the doctor's like, you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my initial reaction was just like, just the thought running in my head was like, is it a season-ending injury? And then once I went to the doctors, and they told me that it wasn't really a season-ending injury, I kind of felt better about myself. But it's hard though, like going through that process of like figuring out like you're hurt, like it's gonna take some work to get back. I learned that it's all like in the mind, just trying to figure out like the different motivation, trying to find a different motivation, just working, trying to get back.
So I'm not even you, and I was getting text messages and phone calls for days after.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched the play? Have you seen what your foot looked like?
No, I seen it. It was, like that, sideways. But like on the field, like when it initially happened, like I look up and I see Marcel and TJ Cersei running, and I'm like, and I looked at my leg and I seen it was sideways, and then that's when I realized it was, dislocated. But they put it back in place and put me on the stretcher and got me to the doctors, so it was good. What
are you allowed to do right now, and what do you think the progression looks like?
I've been doing a lot of activities right now. I'm just trying to get my strength back and just taking it day by day. Just been in the training room, working with Joe up there. It's been really good. Yeah.
Wouldn't you say your story is kind of like a movie? And I mean, we need to win the championship, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I was telling my mom the other day. Like, it doesn't feel real. Like, all the stuff I've been through, all 4 years that I've been here, I've been through coaching changes, DC changes, position coach changes. It really doesn't feel real, but I just like to be where my feet are, take it day by day, try to celebrate the small wins. And
Well, what I'm talking about from a Hollywood perspective is like, you get thrust into the biggest game of the year in an injury situation where and you're expected to produce in a game that's tight. Not only do you produce, they can't take you off the field the rest of the way. That's a movie.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, that game kind of boosted my seasons. Notre Dame game, I came in with a mindset that I wasn't really going to get that much of an opportunity to that game until he got hurt.
Yeah.
But when my name was called, I showed out, and that's a credit to Coach Elko and the culture that we have here. Just putting in the work in practice, creating that good habits in practice, and ultimately I just, use them habits in the game. And, I really didn't have any drop off that game, so it was really good. And I just used it for the rest of the games and had, pretty good success.
So do you feel pressure because Torian went off to the NFL? You're kind of like the next, and you're a captain, by the way, so you're expected to lead, but like, it's a new role for you. Do you feel that pressure, and do you embrace that pressure?
Yeah, I embrace that pressure for sure. That's a big shoes to fill. He was the standard for this team last year. He's taught me a lot too. I came at it around the same time he came in, and I watched him grow. watched them lead, and I watched him prepare for games. So, I'm gonna take what I learned from him and try to use it this year, and it's gonna be good.
Let's talk about that room, all right? Jordan's there. He's been working hard. Ray's brand new. He's been working hard. Noah, you got some young dudes, right? So kind of take me through that room.
Yeah, they all been working. It's been pretty good in that room. We all close. T. Will's done a great job, and Sparb has done a great job of keeping us close. We joke around a lot in the group chats and stuff like that. But it's been pretty good. They've been getting after it. OTA has been pretty good. Everybody's good with the plays. The chemistry with everybody in that room is pretty good. Freshmen are coming along pretty good, and it's just been really good. Yeah.
Creating turnovers is a big buzzword, right?
Yeah.
Rat talked about it. You've talked about it. But, you can want to do it. And your defense was really good last year.
Yes,
but
sir.
you didn't create as many as you wanted. So how does that change from year one to year two? Is it focus? Is it we got to catch the ball when it comes? There's a lot of things that go into it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would say, like you said, focus and just habits, habits and practice. We practice it every day, creating turnovers every day, disrupting the ball, taking away the ball. And that's our number one in the plan to win, turnovers. So if we win the turnover margin, we win, we got a high percentage to win the game. So I say creating good habits and focus, like you said.
I know you were asked about this, the season, the schedule overall. Your focus is on Missouri State right off the top. But have you kind of looked at it we got to go on the road here. We got to do this. Do you look at it that way, or is it no, man? I got to get myself ready.
Once I seen the schedule, it was kind of like that. This is where we're gonna play at. But Elko's always taught us be where your feet are. Be in the now. He always talks about that every day. Be in the now. So we just taking it day by day, trying to work through this off season. Be in the now, like I said, and focus on trying to be 1-0 against Missouri State.
I'll close this out. I know you want to focus on the first game. But how does this team finish? Last year, that was a big buzzword, and you guys did finish better except for the last two games, right? So how do we make that not even a thing?
Yeah, Coach Elko always been talking about finish. We got to just be consistent throughout the year, and that finish is the extra step that we need.
Yeah.
It's just focusing on that. We can't get complacent towards the end of the year. And, playing in the SEC, game to game, it kind of get it kind of get I don't know the word. You kind of get complacent playing in the SEC. You get tired
because every week is a battle.
Every week is a battle, yeah. But like I said, SEC the hardest conference to play in. So at the end of the year, getting complacent is it's hard, but. We'll be good this year.
Well, I told you before the interview, I'll say it publicly here, man. I'm really proud of the growth I've seen from
Yes,
you.
sir.
I knew it was coming, but to watch it in real time, what I saw you do on the field, and now here holding court, you're doing an amazing job. My best to you this season, man. I'm looking forward to having more conversations with you.
Appreciate it.
All right, great conversation with Damian Sanford. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Aaron Torres to complain about something. Right now, when it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary firm serving clients across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, over 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep. At Paragon, credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. It's time for our favorite segment of the week with Aaron Torres, and that is brought to you by Milliken Reserve. It is around college athletics. Milliken Reserve, a conservancy membership. You can learn more about that at millikenreserve.com. And with that, we go straight to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. AT, Aaron Torres. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm great, Nuno. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. Missed you last week. I apologize we weren't able to get to you. I'm sure you did Ryan Fowler's show. I'm sure it was great.
Well, listen, I got to talk to you about that.
Uh-oh.
Ryan Fowler issued me an apology because he didn't call me last week either. Now, he had Kalen DeBoer to lead his Wednesday show, and I traditionally lead his Wednesday show, so I understand why.
Yeah.
But, I've spent a year just, putting Ryan Fowler on a pedestal.
Yep.
And oh, my goodness, we never miss a week, and he always calls. Well, you know what? He did me dirty. At least David Nuno let me know that that he probably wouldn't be able to call last week. So thank you. So instead of an angry whatever, it is a thank you from me for having the foresight to let me know that you would not be available to me last Thursday. And you wouldn't believe what I did with those 15 minutes that I would have normally given you. A lot of big things were done at 7:35 local time last Thursday. But thank you for letting me know, unlike that devil Ryan Fowler.
Well, let me tell you about that devil Ryan Fowler. Depending on who's around, he treats you differently, right? I was walking. Seriously, like this guy, first off, you could see him from a mile away with the big beard. Super friendly. He is the most friendly guy I've ever met. But I was walking with Billy Liucci. This dude looked through me. He saw the legend that is Luch and went straight for Billy, did not acknowledge my existence at all. I was like, hi, Ryan. Hey, but nothing. So you know what that means? It's war again. It's 2022 all over again. Fowler, you and I.
Dude, let's go.
Hey.
Me, you, Jimbo Fisher on one side, Fowler, and whoever on the other side. I like it. This is good to know. This is good to know that it's not good to know that he big-timed you, but it's good to know for future reference. I got to be careful around that guy. I got to be careful.
Oh, David, I didn't see you. I'm so sorry. Whatever, Ryan. You're done to me. Hey, So I didn't hear what you said because I just caught it a moment ago. The Big Ten calls out the SEC. Do they have a point? We talking Brett Bielema or what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think Brett Bielema, also I thought because of the Bielema quotes, what Tony Petitti said was a little bit, not reported on enough, in my opinion. And all he said, for people who didn't hear it, was everybody says, and this is the argument that you and I have, or conversation, it's not really an argument, but conversation you and I have had is that, everybody says the middle and the bottom of our league are no good. And he basically said, why are we so good when we go on, on the road or neutral site games in the college football playoff? And, he didn't say it, but Indiana obviously took care of business against Alabama last year. And Ohio State beat two teams from the SEC on the way to the college football national championship 2 years ago. So, I think if I could paint with a broad brush the last 2 weeks of media days, it's really been both leagues making different arguments on why they are still at the top of college football. I don't know who's number one, who's number two. I think it just depends on what you value. But listen, I do think that each has a compelling argument. And I think this is a conversation that we're going to be having, frankly, into January. And then maybe the data will tell us something a little bit different. And then in January, we'll continue the conversation from there.
Let me make a couple of comments. I think you summed it up so well, Aaron. They're arguing two different things. I truly do believe the bottom tier of the SEC is significantly better than the bottom tier of the Big Ten. I can also say the upper tier of the Big Ten is considerably better than the upper tier of the SEC. That's what happens in the playoffs. I think what SEC people like myself will tell you is, yeah, that's all fine. That's true. They deserve the credit for winning the national championship. They've been the best conference, at least winning the championship the last 3 years. I think all we're saying is our grind is harder. The grind is harder, but the better team is still in the Big Ten. And I think that's fair to everybody. Am I wrong here?
Well, you and I have had this debate. I think that most years it's accurate. I think there is a conversation about last year. First of all, everybody talks about the middle and the bottom of the league, and I know you specifically referenced the bottom. The middle of the middle of the Big Ten last year, USC in a quote-unquote down year won 9 games. Michigan with a coach that basically cared about everything other than football, won 9 games, and Washington won 9 games. So that's a pretty solid middle to me. Now, again, it could also be an argument against the bottom of the Big Ten. The thing with the SEC, like, in theory, I do agree with your argument. There's a difference between going into the swamp when Florida's bad and going to Purdue or Rutgers on a Saturday when they're bad. But I also don't think that we can just dismiss the bottom of the SEC was very bad last year. Florida was 4-8. They got destroyed by Kentucky, a Kentucky team, by the way, that fired its coach 2 weeks later. Auburn was not a good team. And you can sit there and say, oh, Jordan Hare's such a tough place to win. But we've seen New Mexico State, among others, go in there the last few years. So I think it's a fluid conversation. Listen, if you held a gun to my head, which would be a weird thing to do, and said, you got to win one game at Florida or at Purdue, what's the tougher place to play? I would still say Florida. But I think even that argument has some holes in it based on last year. Now, I think the counter to that is I think virtually every team that fired its coach last year on paper feels like it will be better coached this year. Florida, John Summerall has been fun on social media, but I think he's going to have that program more competitive. Lane Kiffin, I think, will certainly have LSU more competitive, on and on and on. So anyway, I'm going long. So that's the gist of my counter to.
Yeah, and I'm not even countering. I'm just going to say a couple things. Tell me if you understand where I'm coming from. Like, Maryland went 4-8 last year, okay? I don't think they're beating Texas last year. And I'll give another one, Michigan State. They went 4-8. I don't think they're beating Texas the way Florida did. So I guess that's more my point. And I by the way, Texas, who won, what did they go, 9-3 last year? Is that right? Yeah, 10-3. They went 10-3 because they won their bowl game. They beat Michigan, who went 9-3. So, and it was convincing. So I guess it doesn't matter, though. The Big Ten's won the national championships. They deserve the spotlight. The part that I did not like was Bielema calling out Sankey. Not that Sankey should not get some blame. I'm not saying that. But he says, talking about him being forward-thinking, I don't know if Sankey and Petitti are any different. Like, I mean, one wants a 2014 playoff, one wants a 16-team playoff, but they're both kind of thinking in alignment, right? I don't think that Greg Sankey is stuck in 2005, at least with the future of college football. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong. And Bielema was asked some follow-up questions that didn't make as many headlines, where I think he really clarified that, one, the initial comment, which is what we all heard, certainly sounded like a dig at Greg Sankey. And I think if you listen to some of his follow-ups, I don't know that it was necessarily designed that way. And I think if you actually listen to the follow-ups, and I'm not criticizing anyone who didn't, it really was more of a hey, the Big Ten is basically the argument we just had. The middle and the bottom of the Big Ten is way better than it was when I was here at Wisconsin 10 years ago. He actually made a direct reference of the old world of college football. He named his players. He said, my quarterback, my left tackle, and he listed off 4 or 5 positions. He said, we could have never gotten those guys in the different world. And so I do think bigger picture, his conversation and his comments were designed to basically say, hey, in this era, nobody has the depth of 2016 Alabama. That world doesn't exist, and that depth has been dispersed not only to the Vanderbilts and Kentuckys in the SEC, but also to the Illinois and whomever's Indiana. Indiana's probably the wrong example, but to the middle and the bottom of the Big Ten as well. The initial comment didn't come off like that, but I do think that was the gist of the conversation. But I would agree, big picture, Greg Sankey, it's almost like Roger Goodell, right? Like, Roger Goodell gets blamed for everything. His job is to just keep the 32 NFL owners happy, and Sankey's job is to just do what he thinks is best for the 16 teams in the SEC. And I think it's a conversation that you and I have had, that everybody has had, is in this new world of college football, there are just certain advantages that the SEC isn't going to have that they had 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. And that's not Greg Sankey's fault. But at the end of the day, I think he's just doing what's best for those 16 teams. And to your point, he can't be blamed for things that are out of his control.
AT, last thing for you. We had a segment earlier about teams so dependent on their quarterback play. And I'm just going to ask you, if From all the upper tier teams in the SEC, who do you think is most dependent on elite quarterback play and why?
Great question. I would argue, it's funny because I thought you were going to say college football, and I was going to say Oregon because I know Dylan Raiola is the backup, but I do think Dante Moore is another level. In the SEC, my hunch is to say LSU, but I don't think Sam Levitt is some world beater, and so maybe what? I'll give you an answer. I think it's Alabama because I think even Ryan Fowler admits that, hey, this isn't going to be a vintage O-line. It's got to be better than it was a year ago, but it's not going to be vintage. And because it was not good, not only did they not have a run game, but they didn't really have a quarterback that can make plays with his feet. And so I think whoever it is, whether it's Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, they're part of the success of Alabama is going to have to be a quarterback who makes some plays with his feet. We're not asking him to run the triple option like he did Army, but is going to have to make some plays with their feet. So I would say Alabama. I don't know if we have time to hear your answer because I'm kind of curious what the other answers might be, but that would be probably my answer this season.
Let's continue it on next week, buddy. How's that sound?
All right. I'll be here. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, AT. Aaron Torres there on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short fake segment. It's fake because it won't be a full segment. That's it. It's great content, though. Have you seen the newest historical story from the Association of Former Students, The Changing Face of Northgate? Our good friend Sue Owen, class of 94, is officially on our website. You can dive into it at tx.ag/history of Northgate. The association's team searched far and wide for historical images, stories, and facts about the infamous College Station Bar District landmark that is known as Northgate. From wooden storefronts to real brick and iron gate to high-rise apartments, the district has changed and grown alongside of Texas A&M. Pretend like you're taking a walk down Bottle Cap Alley and read about the rich history of Northgate on our website, aggienetwork.com. Again, don't miss this historical feature that has highlight memories and changes of Northgate on the website, aggienetwork.com. Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. All right, let's do a reminder. The final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites, or why am I doing this with my hands, are on their way. When we come back, Billy Liucci. The song is pretty good. pretty good. TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the program, and I'm currently hanging out by my darn self at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. Reach out to the good folks at Holistic Planning. If you are serious about making some money and all the goodness that comes with a great financial consultant. We're going to check in as we figure out the Billy situation with Carson Stein at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. You got something cracking for us?
I do. I got what we're going to have for TexAgs today.
Okay, what do we got?
First of all, I would say check out all the content we released yesterday during the celebrity softball game, such as sights and sounds, photos, press conference from Mike O'Reilly and Keody Armstrong. That's all just from yesterday, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Today, though, we have Texas Aggies United interviews with Marcel Reed, David Alano, and Tommy Colligan. Also, Jason Howell around Texas recruiting, sponsored by Rio Agave. And I don't know about you, David, but I'm a big recruiting guy, so I feel like that'd be, if you want to get into more recruiting around the state, go check that out.
Yeah, we did a great recruiting country with Jason Howell yesterday on TexAgs Live. It was good. It was a good conversation. All right, give me something to chew on, Carson.
I don't know if you've seen this, what some of the news that broke out yesterday about Arian Carter getting suspended for 2 games.
I saw that, yeah.
Taking a $427 flight with an agency. Gets suspended for 2 games against Furman and Georgia Tech. I feel like in the world of college football today, I feel like that's just blasphemous.
Blasphemous. Anywho, now we are joined by Billy Liucci. Billy, I don't think you've ever done the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. So welcome to the Cool Zone. This is where we kind of relax and chit-chat about sports. We can stay here for as long or as little as you want, buddy. But I wanted to make sure we got a little chat in.
Probably a little. I feel weird looking. The whole thing's weird.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on with you?
It is kind of cooler over here.
Yeah, it is.
Actually.
Yeah, can you feel it?
Yeah, we're a little closer to the vent, I guess. I'm good. What's going on?
Well, a couple things to get into this hour with you. What did you just throw? Okay. Napkin. That's disgusting. All right.
It is a use.
Oh, somebody else's?
Nose
Yours
blown.
or somebody's?
No, I blew my nose in it.
So great. Carson, you want to get that
Don't pick it up, Carson. I'll get it. Just wanted it out of the shot.
6 days away from the start of fall camp. We've learned that yesterday.
Yeah. It's basically here.
Yeah.
Do we have the full schedule yet? Did we get an email with it?
No. I just know that was based on what was
I'm
said.
interested to see the schedule and the practice times and things like that. You know, I'm always interested in that. Just that balancing act of August heat in Texas and in the South, and what coaches do, what different coaches do each, you know, and Elko, this is going into year 3, but a lot of times you see them change it up, like in terms of what times they practice, how much of it's on the indoor versus out. You know, it's always a balancing act, because the last thing you want is to have, you know, a slow-looking football team in September, and you can't figure out why. And it's like, were you not careful enough in this? Because here come the hundreds, right? I mean, you look at the forecast in the next, week, 10 days, and it's generally, I think, unless it's changed in the last 2 days, it's been, you're approaching getting right around 100 every day. So I'll be interested to see the schedule in terms of the times and when they go indoor, outdoor. But otherwise, I'm fired up, man. I just seeing the players, talking to certain sources, players that come through. It has been, I think it's been the best offseason under Elko. And it makes sense, because you had year 1 offseason, which is not, it's in theory, going to be your worst. And then you had last year's offseason, which produced a playoff berth. And I think it makes sense that coming off of a playoff berth, entering the offseason with a bad taste in your mouth with how it finished and being extra motivated, it makes sense that you would have this type of offseason, especially with a veteran quarterback. Mm-hmm. And Marcel has been what you want to see from a veteran QB in the offseason. But I saw the thing with the weights that we put out today when they were comparing the roster today to the roster in the spring. Some pretty impressive
numbers, yeah.
I've seen some of those players. And, yeah, like, as a group, I'm going to tell you, when you go out there next week, everyone's going to be talking about what this D-line looks like physically. DJ Hicks he's transformed his body in the offseason, but kind of kept a similar size. You've got TJ Searcy came in here the other day. What was he, 6'5", 260. He looks great. Anto Saka is a specimen. Marco Jones is a specimen. Everybody saw him yesterday hitting home runs over at Davis Diamond.
Mario Craver.
Davis Swain, I think, gained 17 pounds on the D-line.
Craver on 15.
Yeah, but he's a wide receiver.
I'm just
kind of talking about the D-line.
For sure.
Still. I'm just trying to say, I think the D-line is going to be the group that catches everyone's eye when you go, damn, as a unit, that group of players looks really, really good. The O-lineman, what I've noticed is you don't see a lot of big bellies. You look at some of the guys that might start, like Tyree Adams and Formby, and Lamont's a big guy all over, but he's a monster out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jaden Baugh. I keep saying Jaden Baugh. He's a nice running back, but he's not an O-lineman like Trevon Baugh is. And he's been a guy that I think really had a great offseason. You just look across the board. Naboo, I think, what did it say on there? He lost like 17 pounds, something like that. One who gained some of the most on there that I saw was KK Johnson.
Naboo lost 23 pounds.
23, yeah. And KK Johnson gained 30-something. I've seen these dudes, the tight end position, KK Johnson, the true freshman, is going to really open eyes in camp when people see him. Now, he's got to become acclimated to learn the position. You got Keati Armstrong, Houston Thomas, and a guy whose body maybe has changed as much as anybody since he's gotten here might be Richie Anderson, who to me looks like so much slimmer and more athletic than he did when he got here. When, he didn't look like much. He was a big dude, but he didn't look like much coming from Fresno. He might have benefited the most from Tommy Moffitt in terms of what he looks like. So, and you mentioned Craver. That's a wild amount of weight for him to gain.
And keep the speed, too.
I've watched him. He has kept the speed, so that's the key. I mean, because that's how he wins. That's how he becomes, an all-SEC player, a game changer, and probably his draft status will be really interesting because he's so small, but he's so damn good. I forget who someone compared him to. I know who it was. I had an NFL scout compare him to Tank Dell of the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
it's a great comparison.
Pretty lofty praise right there to compare him to Tank Dell. But again, he's a guy that his production is going to scream first round, and then they're going to say, well, man, is he too small? Is he not? It'll be interesting when you start. I think he's going to have a monster season. And that receiver position, Nuno, I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were like, is there a position in this program that the look of that room has changed more? And I'm not sure in 2 years' time I've ever seen a room change quite that much. Maybe the A&M O-line room shortly after Sherman got there. That one would be up there because he very quickly added Matthews, Jokel, Abuehi, and then even a couple guys that didn't pan out as much, but before them, he added Patrick Lewis. After that, he added Jermaine Ifedi, Jarvis Harrison. So that would be an example I can remember. But damn, you look at the receivers. A, when Elko got here. B, even go look on that Orange Bowl championship team. Look at the group when Jimbo got here. And by look at them, I don't mean they weren't good players, but how many of them went to the NFL? How many of them were all conference? And now you just look at that group, and you don't even have KC Concepcion anymore. But you look at Craver, Bethel Roman, Isaiah Horton looks like an all-SEC linebacker playing receiver and can run and knows how to use his frame to keep defenders off of him and catch the football. Like, who did I not mention? Terry Bussey, by the way. Bussey's, he was out the second half of spring. Sometimes I don't know if people quite pay attention when they'd rather worry about Bussey. Like, oh, he got hurt. People made it like he was carted off. Yeah. People made it like, they made it sound like Terry Bussey and Ashton Bethel Roman were like cooked. Bethel Roman, it was back not too long after that, and then Bussey Bethel Romo's back in the spring game. Bussy is back full go. He looks terrific. Again, had probably as good a start to fall camp as anybody on the offense before he got dinged up. So that doesn't even mention Aaron Gregory. How much did Aaron Gregory gain? He put on quite a bit of weight too.
Let me find that.
So did Brandon Arrington. So they're two highest rated guys. The only knock on them would be inexperience and that they were both a little skinny. And they both added, I think, at least 10, 12, 14 pounds, both of them. Don't worry about it. So anyway, that group of receivers.
14 pounds for Aaron Gregory.
And by the way, another guy who's going to catch everybody's eye in camp is TK Norman.
I think he gained 4 pounds.
Those dudes are like the guys that people don't even talk about yet that are down, Jaden Warren is a specimen at, 6'1" plus. I don't know what he's listed at. He might be close to 200 pounds, and this is a guy that ran a 10.2 last year. And then I mentioned TK. Like these dudes a few years ago would have been like, that's all anyone would have been talking about. And now it's like, yeah, they're going to have their shot, but they got to beat out some guys. And in the case of like a true freshman like Warren, bide your time for a minute, get your reps, your game reps when you can. But that position, I don't know if they'll be the best in the SEC. They could be, though, and they'll be one of the best. So it's crazy how quickly they turn that thing. They're not Ohio State level yet, but and I don't even know Ohio State this year, but it's Ohio State typically. And then it's like, to me in the SEC, is A&M, Texas. What's Bama putting out there this year at receiver? That group will be interesting, but they're going to be right there in the conversation for best in the conference. No question about it. LSU will probably be in the discussion. Lane added some guys and brought back a couple. So, and by the way, none other than son of truth, Holt Goodwin, who is going to be a quarterback to keep a real close eye on this year at A&M Consolidated. And had he not gotten hurt last year, I think he'd have been on everyone's radar. He got hurt and missed their last couple games in playoff run, but in 6 or 7 games, put up some big numbers. I keep joking with him because he's like 6'1", 210, and runs 4.5 and vertical jumps 38 inches. I'm like, you sure you don't want to go start hitting people? And it's like a prototypical, like 5-star linebacker, but he can sling it. So he's been traveling around with one of the top 7-on-7 teams, and they called me the other day, him and Hunter, and Holt couldn't stop raving about McFarland.
Oh, yeah?
Said, oh, he's the best receiver any of me and any other teammates have seen. He's like better than anybody in the country. So you've got that coming in as well. Right. So just think about what they're doing at receiver, and it's pretty damn exciting.
I wanted to bring something up. It seemed like you and Amanda were going back and forth on Marcel. And she brings stats typically that, to amplify her answer.
I'm just biding my time on that whole thing.
Well, but
I'm playing a long game because I think I'm going to be right.
Well, what she said, and this is from one of the tweets that we had out, he throws 2 interceptions at the end of the game. That's what he did at the end of the season. That's why people have questions. And she was his argument for where he is. And she was talking also about like how he played in the big games. And I think he also played really well in the big games.
I think that's a fair statement to say because we know it's true. That is why they're asking questions, right? That is why. My point is like, so she was right about that. Like, hey, at the end of Texas, he threw 2 picks. At the end of Miami, he threw a pick. They lost both those games. They were 11-0. That is why people are asking that. My point was to say they're forgetting things in asking. Like, I understand that that's the last thing you saw, and that's what you're asking, but I think that's wrong. That was what I was saying. So, like, her point is dead on accurate, and Marcel would sit here and say the same thing. Like, hey, that's can't be doing that. But I would contend Notre Dame was a monster game. It was as big as they come. Where she was off, and I didn't say it in the moment because she gets going. You know, it's hard to like counter, but it's like she said A&M wouldn't have been in the Notre Dame game didn't really matter. They were in the playoffs anyway. They wouldn't have been actually if you go back to it. Had they lost to Notre Dame,
they've been 10-2.
They'd be 10-2, and by the way, Notre Dame would be 11-1 and beat you, so they take that spot, and then you're 10-2, squared up against a Miami team that beat Notre Dame, the team you lost to. Maybe you'd be squared up against OU. I actually put some thought into this because I was like, oh, maybe OU. No, if OU won at Bama, at Tennessee,
they'd get that.
You take away that Notre Dame game. What do you say? Well, we beat LSU. Well, so did OU. Okay, you say, well, our loss was to Notre Dame and Texas. Oh, you say, well, our losses were to Texas and Ole Miss. And then also, by the way, we played Michigan. They wouldn't have got in had they lost to them, but that doesn't matter. To me, what matters is like in the moment, what is a big game? What do we define as a big game? And I'll give her this. She'll say your definition of a big game for A&M is different than your definition of a big game for Texas. Maybe so. We do that. I mean,
but
I absolutely do. But we're talking about A&M, a big game for Marcel Reed that shows me that he can perform in a big game was his first ever career start
Florida
at the Swamp in Florida, and the way he played that day. And I would say, what did Arch Manning do in his first game in the Swamp? You know, against the same Billy Napier coached team. In the Swamp, first start, coming off the bench down 10 in front of 100,000 at home against LSU and playing essentially a perfect second half. On the road at Notre Dame, having to lead. We talk all the time about the fourth down throw, but he also led them. Remember, speaking of Craver, that crossing route to Craver for about 35 yards, he led a length of the field touchdown drive in front of touchdown Jesus to beat a top 10 Notre Dame team on the road. Obviously a big game. And then I would contend, and you can't convince me otherwise, and this is where we got heated, was LSU was a big game.
Yeah.
People forget they were ranked. It was a big game for Nussmeier and for Kelly and the program. And they were basically, a lot of people thought A&M's perfect season was going to end at night in Death Valley where dreams go to die. And they put up 50 basically. And he had 100 yards rushing, couple hundred passing, only because they dialed back the passing because they were up so much, and accounted for 2 or 3 touchdowns in that one. So, and oh, by the way, 400 yards in South Bend.
Yeah,
Don't let me forget.
People like to pick and choose what helps their narrative. I'm going to ask a couple questions. First off, do we take more stock in how you play against the really good teams or how you play against the poor teams? Because how did Marcel play against the bad teams? Pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, Auburn and Mississippi State, you could.
Yeah,
those were 2 of his lesser, but they weren't. He didn't play poorly.
Okay,
he had an interception against Auburn. No, look, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Auburn. He wasn't exceptional until that second half against South Carolina, where he was incredible.
Okay, how was Arch against UTEP last year?
UTEP, Kentucky,
Florida. So. And I'm not trying to make I'm just saying we can pick and choose games to help our narrative. That's all I'm saying. And it happened to be Marcel's last 2 games that were definitely the last stretch, because South Carolina, you get credit for South Carolina, you also lose points for South Carolina.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, tricky one. And also like with LSU, this is how I've always been. So Chris Marlar had that quote about that on
Marcel
SEC.
Reed is Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
I'm recording all the slander, and he did that. Walker and his sidekick over there at Barstool, they kind of blew off Marcel when talking about, I don't care if you shouldn't, I don't think he should be listed as the best quarterback, and that should be Trinidad Chambliss. But to like laugh at the thought of it, this guy was quite literally a Heisman, like when the discussion included about 7 or 8 guys with a game left in the season.
Well, my point was about the LSU game. Is that Marlar talks about that A&M team, right, as a top 10 win. A&M didn't finish as a top 10 team, did
Yeah.
they? No, they finished as an 8-4 team, 8-5 team.
Yeah.
When we talk about a game, we talk about that moment in time.
Yeah, because that was a big win for South Carolina.
Absolutely. So, like, we can do revisionist history afterwards, which is what people like to do. But in a moment of time, A&M beat a very good LSU team. Their season went south afterwards. South Carolina beat a very good A&M team. Their season went south afterwards. Those are the facts.
Yeah, and I understand, like, at the end of the year, and I understand even what she's doing, that win wasn't as big as you thought it was. In terms, here's the thing that you're not saying, though. You don't have to say it, but this is what you mean by that. When you're really saying is that win wasn't as big as you thought it was for your resume. At that moment when they took the field, by any definition you want to put on it, that was a big, big football game. For Texas A&M, for Marcel Reed, for LSU, for Nussmeier, for Brian Kelly, obviously. That was a big-time game for everybody in the country. That's why they had it prime time on ABC that night with Herb Street and Fowler calling it. So we're trying to determine with the initial statement that I was pushing back on were people in Tampa that were asking, and it wasn't everyone, but there was a lot of people really high on Marcel. And even the ones that are asking this were high on him, but there's a but.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I get, you can't ignore the last couple games and the fact that, multiple turnovers against Texas, Miami, and South Carolina to end the season. You can't ignore that. And then even LSU, so it's 4 out of 5 of your last Power 4 games. So definitely it's like they won't be able to achieve what they need to, and he's got to be more careful with the football, more consistent, all of those things. But don't ignore what he did in the first 11 games. And my other thing is this. My other thing is, like, again, you have to apply that to all these other quarterbacks. So apply that to John Mateer, who threw as many or more picks, and I thought had so many of them dropped. It was great. John Mateer takes real chances with, and the OU people that really know, that I talked to up there, they know, for sure. Compare him to like what Ty Simpson did last year, what Pavia did, and I think Pavia soared there towards the end, but like compare him to who else? You had a Nussmeier last season that came in with all the hype. Compare him to Sellers. I see people, I saw it the other day when they're talking about Lenora Sellers, those same two guys, Walker and the other guy that were kind of just blowing off Marcel. They're like, oh, well, Lenora Sellers could be the top overall pick.
Yeah.
Just keep it. It's like, all right. Like, he had by any metric, a really pitiful season last year. He was not, and for as bad as Marcel was in the first half, Lenora Sellers didn't produce like a yard in the second half of that game. And there are other instances where he was really bad. Do I think he's going to bounce back? Yes, I do. But like, even Chambliss, right until that playoff run, you can compare individual games against like opponents with all these quarterbacks I just mentioned and have Marcel in there. And there are some games where he's 3rd or 4th out of 5 on that list. There's some games where he's 1st out of 3 or 4 on that list. There's some where he's in the middle. My point is he's right there with him. You have to question all of these things. Gunnar Stockton, like, they're 0-2 in the playoffs under him. Now, the first one, kind of not fair. And then I see your hand moving with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
with that thing on it. But
our break was 8
my other point is they're not doing that about Arch Manning, and people will get on me for stating a fact. And we had this battle on Twitter. Like 4 of their 10 games, 40% of their games against Power 4 opponents last year, Texas crossed the goal line once. One time. Ohio State was 14-7. OU, they scored like 23. It was 3 field goals and a punt return and 1 touchdown. Kentucky, it was 1 touchdown after Niblett returned it to the 5-yard line. I think they won 13-10. And then the other one was Georgia, where I've been told that he played really well. They lost 35-10 in that game. I don't understand. So, and I'm not even, that will be perceived as arch hate. Those are facts. And all I'm saying is, I think there should be questions about, is he really all the way already there? Or are we putting too much stock into the last few games when they were against, A&M, where he completed 45% of his passes. His 2 biggest plays were against guys that were uncovered. Michigan, without a coach and without a lot of players, again, let me say this. I think he should be second team. Here, Stockton should be second team All SEC entering the season with Chambliss 1. Marcel right there. To me, that would be my order going in. I'd have Marcel at 4 with a chance to move up. I'd have Mateer at 5, Sellers at 6, I think. Levitt after that. I mean, I have Levitt at 6. Anyway, my point of all of this is they all have questions. They're not asking the question. There's 0 questions about Arch, which I disagree with. Jordan Rogers does too, and he caught hell. There's plenty of questions about Mateer, and they're not asking those enough either.
Bubba's 33, July 31st. They have a big party, the Burgers for the Brave parking lot party. By the way, go eat the food there. It's really good if you like wings. And they're fantastic. Burgers are fantastic. But this year, they have the Burgers for the Brave parking lot party where they're going to announce the final fundraising total for the Homes for Our Troops, recognize 2 outstanding local veterans, enjoy live music, shop with local vendors, and make one last push to support this amazing cause. Bring the whole family. Kids can enjoy face painting, ballroom artists, while everyone takes part in an evening of great food, entertainment, and community. It's the perfect family outing and a chance to make a lasting difference for our nation's heroes. It's Bubba's 33. Go check out Highway 6 in College Station. Time for 25 and 25, presented by Paragon Financial Advisors, an Aggie-owned independent fee-only fiduciary serving families and business owners nationwide. Visit paragon-adv.com. Number 22, Billy, is Noah McHale.
Yep.
I said earlier in the show, and I think you'll probably agree with me, I think he's a riser. He's somebody that we have at 22 now, but when it's all said and done, he's going to be a little bit higher on that list.
I'll say this. He needs to be a riser. I mean, guys like him, Coney, Lockhart, they need to be risers, and we know what Sanford is, and we know he's a, all-conference contender. He's an NFL draft pick. I told you the other day, I had a scout text me and said, man, I keep watching DJ Hicks because, Hicks is going to go pretty high in the draft if he plays like they think, and if he just takes that one more step. Like, I keep watching DJ Hicks, who I love, but I can't keep my eyes off 27. I keep watching Damian Sanford. Like, he flashes, man. And but beyond that, there's a lot of unproven. Lockhart's got a little experience. He certainly looks the part. He's got some good leadership qualities and great physical attributes. Coney was a tackling machine at Tulsa, and he's a guy whose name has come up to me more than once about having a really good offseason. And then there's Noah McHale, who I think potential-wise has like, the hell is that?
Sound like a bomb.
Somebody on our roof? Somebody must have fell upstairs. Anyway, sky's the limit.
Find out who died. Go ahead.
Sky's the limit potential for Noah. Yeah. Like, I think he physically, athletically, you watch him in practice. I mean, he does a great job at cutting and jumping routes. He's really, I think, instinctive in short space, like down in the red zone in coverage and making tackles. I think I remember seeing him. What was it? He had a couple of really good ones against Arkansas in those type situations. LSU was threatening down there. He had a good TFL against them early in that game when it was still in doubt. He flashes where you go, oh man, that's what it's supposed to look like. Just see ball, attack ball. But he's got limited experience as a true freshman last year. Morrow, and Marco Jones are the three guys in that class that I think A&M needs to make a substantial jump to varying degrees. Like, Marco, I think, played a lot more than Noah.
Yeah.
And, Morrow is a guy that I think you have to have. Like, they have to have him take that big jump. But those three guys, and Noah's one of them to me, that the team, the defense, needs Noah McHale to make that move from a guy that was getting his feet wet to being a good SEC linebacker. I think he has a chance to be a great one. But in year one as a starter, they need him to be a good one, And so I think more of that for Noah will be mental than physical. And I don't mean mental like, oh man, he might be slow to figure it out. I mean mental in terms of you got to be really comfortable out there and kind of play with an experience, with play in a style that belies your lack of experience. Like, he's going to have to be locked in. You can't have these young linebacker misfits where you're fitting the wrong hole, and we've seen it before. This is exactly what A&M's got to get rid of. So you've got a portal guy in Coney, a young guy in Noah, and a still pretty inexperienced but a year older guy in Lockhart. Like, just because they haven't played a ton in games in this, in the case of Coney in this defense, that you can't have linebackers fit in the wrong gap and cut down on the big plays allowed in the run game. Those two things don't fit together. So to me, these linebackers, this has to be the most improved unit on the team. And if Noah McHale can even come close to, playing at the level that I think he's going to play in ultimately, then he's going to be a freaking stud this year. Like, there's an unknown with him because he just hasn't, had that level of responsibility, practice in, practice out, week in, week out, game in, game out, placed on him, so you don't know till you know. The good news, though, is, like you said, there's several of them.
Yeah.
So there's several of them. Who are the guys I've missed here? I miss Shaw and I miss Gibson. Are those the two?
Yep.
In the case of Jordan Shaw, I know Elko's mentioned it. I've been talking about it since that game. And that was from a conversation with him about how well Shaw played when he had to come off the bench and deal with Malachi Toney, who some people consider a Heisman contender this year. That was a growing up moment for him. He's now in year 2 in your system. He was a good player at Washington. I think that's a real asset that we don't talk. He's one of those guys that probably does. I feel like if there's a couple that we don't talk about enough, it might be him. It might be the tight end position. I think as a whole, which I think could do some things in the passing game this year, including Mike O'Reilly, team captain.
Yeah.
You know, they'll make a deal that he's a captain because of what he means to the team. They also brought him over here because he could play.
Yeah.
And they felt like he could get physical, and he's a big body that can catch the football. So that tight end position, we don't talk about enough. Shaw, we don't talk about enough. In the case of Ricky Gibson, you know, he got hurt early spring. I think probably it was a frustrating stretch for him not being able to, you know, practice coming over from Tennessee. He came back from that break really locked in for the people I've talked to, like really locked in the weight room, in the off season. So I'm excited to see what he does out there at camp because, damn, I loved his tape. When they took him out of the portal and you went and watched Ricky Gibson highlights at Tennessee, that dude will tackle you. He'll take you to the ground in the open field. He'll make breaks on the football. I think that cornerback position is so exciting for A&M, and he's a big piece of the reason why.
All right, we'll hit a break. Brazos Running Company time and Mason Hay, a family legacy there at Century Square. Brazos Running Company is a locally Aggie-owned specialty running store in Century Square, right below the Star Cinema Grill. Mike Nugent's passionate about finding the right shoe for you. If you're a runner or into any kind of fitness, he's got you. They've got all the top brands from Brooks to Onda Hoka. They got Viore, you name it. But that Aggie spirit does run deep in that family. Mike's daughters, Haley and Macy, are fourth-generation Aggies and also College Station natives. They created Mason Hay, their own company featuring officially licensed Aggie merchandise, from Aggie pajamas to baby blankets, wallpaper, you name it, they've got it. So from running shoes to Aggie pajamas, this Aggie family's got you covered. Visit the Brazos Running Company in Century Square. Shop Mason Hay at masonhay.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratella Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Liucci. And Fratella has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratella is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo. A couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratella's is Aggie-owned and operated, and it's an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm going to ask you
Do
something.
you have something on the back of your neck?
Probably.
Give me a turn.
You could have told me.
Oh, it's just your tag. I thought you had there was some kind of new mic contraption you were wearing.
I talk with my neck.
I thought it was like a wrap around. I'm like, why don't I have one of those?
I'm going to ask you something I asked earlier in the show and get your thoughts on it. Which team, and it could be anybody in college football if you want to keep it to the SEC, is going to be quarterback dependent to making the playoffs elite quarterback play? Because to me, if the team around it is really good, sometimes the game manager is enough. Who needs to have elite quarterback play to be a playoff team?
Okay. I heard the question. I'm going to answer it. Is there any way you can take that off while
of course. You want to wear it?
Let me see. I mean, this guy's literally, it looks like brass knuckles. I feel like, you ever seen the movie The Warriors?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. Have you seen it really?
Yeah, I have.
What do they do in it?
Isn't that the movie where they beat up the kid in school?
No.
Which one is that one?
I don't know about that.
The Warriors, which one's
They
the
beat
worst?
up a kid in school.
Yeah, I'm thinking of My Bodyguard.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
great
good
movie.
80s movie.
Yeah, that's a great
No, The Warriors, it's like the gang, it's like over the top gangs, they were all the different
oh yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Social classes and races and they all it was just a big, I think it was New York gang. You saw the thing this year. Who was the guy that kept doing it? It was so cheesy. I think it was with the Spurs. He kept saying, or no, it was the football player in the playoffs, and people were getting so tired of him where he was saying, Warriors, come out and play.
Yeah.
I forget who was doing that, but it was somebody whose team went deep in the NFL playoffs, and people were like, get this damn guy out of here. He sucks. It might have been the guy that goes barefoot all the time. Anyway. That's what you look like. You're ready for some big Bryan, College Station, Hearn, Caldwell, Navasota, Curtin, Anderson.
I'm ready for the media
street
bash.
fight. All the gangs are going to come together, and here's Nuno with his brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Why not?
This is just to protect my broken finger that won't get better.
Put it back on then. I don't want to slow down your...
Dr. Gibbs is probably listening right now.
Slow
very
down
upset.
his recovery, Dr. Gibbs. So anyway, what teams need elite quarterback play to? Well, I think you start one of them that I don't expect to get to the playoffs, but I guess there's a world in which, Lenoris Sellers can capture that second half of 2024 magic. I just don't. I think South Carolina's got too many holes and too tough a schedule, but. That's a guy who we talked about him earlier. I do think his ceiling is sky high. Mm-hmm. So one team that probably doesn't need great quarterback play to get there, but needs good quarterback play would be Tennessee. I think they got a lot of other pieces, but again, this is the fifth new starting quarterback in 5 years for Heupel. He acts like that's not a problem. He says that as if it's old hat. We've done
Right.
this. But eventually it's not going to work, or maybe it doesn't work for
To the
the
same
first
level.
half of the season.
Yep.
But if he just gets good quarterback play,
I said LSU as mine because
I agree with that.
if Sam Levitt is elite, LSU is a playoff team. If
Yeah.
he's injured, if he's not elite, they are not a playoff team.
I totally agree. I think they might be number one on that list.
They were my
It's
number
not
one.
Gunnar Stockton. It's not Arch. It's not Trinidad.
It's not Marcel.
It's not Marcel. I think Marcel. And it's not Mateer. I think Mateer and Marcel, both of them, just need to take another step. And I think the same, by the way, with Arch. I do think he has a little more around him because of what they went out and did in the portal. I have less questions of their skill guys. I still question that O-line a little bit, but Marcel doesn't. Marcel's gonna have games where he has to be great. And by the way, going back to what we talked about earlier, that was Notre Dame. If Marcel was not great, they don't win that game. The same thing with Arkansas game even. Second half against South Carolina. There were games where Marcel had to be great for A&M to win. I don't think – I think he would have had to been great for them to win against Texas because they didn't have a run game. Against Miami, I think just if he would have just been good. It was tough on the quarterbacks. I thought Miami did a better job managing that wind with Carson Beck, but the reason why they could is because Fletcher's churning out yards most of the game. So it allowed them to do that. A&M, on the other hand, was not. So, and look, that A&M had a really good defensive front last year. Miami's was better. Miami's at that time, down the stretch, was the best defensive front in college football. And they proved it week after week after week. Down the stretch there, they proved it in the NFL draft. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think if there's another one that I think needs to be great. This is kind of, again, I don't think they're a team that will do it, but to a lesser scale, I would say Camario Taylor and Mississippi State. Like, they're not going to get in the playoffs, so I kind of am cheating your question. But I could see them beating a team or two.
Yeah.
Because with him being great. Because with Fluff Bothwell, with Lebby calling plays, they should have beat Texas last year. They could have beat Tennessee. They should have beaten Florida. Think about had they done that, even won 2 of those 3 last year, what the narrative would be. And I think Taylor will be a 5 times more dangerous player than Blake Shapen was last year.
All right, we'll hit a break and come back with a 2-minute segment. When it comes to your financial advice, independence matters. Paragon Financial Advisors is an Aggie-owned and operated independent fee-only fiduciary firm. That means that their recommendations are not influenced by commissions, proprietary products, or sales quotas. So if you're managing family wealth or growing a successful business, the team that helps you find that is Paragon Financial Advisors. And for many business owners, that means developing strategies not only to grow the business, but also prepare for one of the biggest financial events of their lives, the eventual sale or transition of that business. Visit paragon-adv.com to learn how independent advice can help you prepare for what's next. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, Aggie-owned, independent, serving clients nationwide. Final minute 30 of the program. So instead of starting a topic that we will never finish on time, I'm going to pull a fast one. We're going to go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I know a text or two came in. They may catch Billy's attention.
Okay.
All right, Stein.
Hold on, it's taking a minute to load.
Oh, I see how
wow,
it is. Way to
2-minute
go,
segment.
Stein.
It's refreshing.
All right, Kevin Jennings.
How about a 285-pound?
It's refreshing? That doesn't make sense. It's always refreshed.
The whole tab had to refresh.
Oh, interesting.
Pull up the cameras. How about a 285-pound tight end in Keati Armstrong?
Oh, putting on some strength?
Well, he carries it very well. I made a comment the other day. I said, we were talking about the tight ends, and I said, I can't wait. And Keati's got to play. Again, he's another one of these guys, second-year guy. He's got to play some. And unlike linebacker, there's a lot of experience ahead of him. And by experience, I mean at other places, maybe not so much here. But there's 3 guys that are veteran college football players ahead of him. But he's going to get out there. And I'm just like, I can't wait to see them draw up a play where he kind of just leaks out into the flat, catches a short pass from Marcel and gets to turn up field and see that 6'5", 285 running. He looks like a tackle. He runs like a tight end. Could you imagine a DB trying to tackle him? One more. We got 6 seconds. Go.
There's no other text.
Oh,
Way to
God.
go, Carson. Way to go.
There you go.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.